Well, of course, Stephen, those provinces haven't been the only ones where the hawks have swooped in. Our senior politics reporter, Ziyanda Ngcobo, is following proceedings and developments in Gauteng. Ziyanda, I guess the writing was on the wall from Monday when the head of human settlements in the department, Mr. Ntatitsi, came to the commission with his advocate armed, Dalimpofu, and said, I have heard that the hawks are asking questions in my department in the Free State. Therefore, I don't want to say anything that's going to incriminate me. And so no surprise that 2 days later, we're seeing these arrests.
Most certainly, and I think it's quite important, to reflect on the fact that that particular agreement between the state capture investigators and the NPA is pretty much a done deal at this point in time, which is, of course, what has led to how quickly we've seen these arrests taking place. Of course, today was the last day for the investigative directorate within the NPA to make good on its promise to actually start making high-profile arrests. Although, at this particular point in time, there's still questions around whether or not these are the masterminds in the state capture project. When are the politicians going to be arrested? I mean, the suspect that I was following in Gauteng today was actually linked to several politicians, Dr. Zweli Mkhize, Paul Mashatile, Zizi Kodwa. He's sent money to these politicians at one point or the other. And so there's still many questions around whether or not, today's arrest is just a PR exercise from the Hawks, or whether or not they'll actually be able to follow through with a strong indictment and with a strong charge sheet and actually continue with the legal process up until there are convictions.
Whichever way one looks at it, there's going to be a domino effect from these arrests. You're talking about this particular individual who was responsible for giving money, whether it was to political parties, being the ANC namely, or individuals in that organization. Have we heard from the ANC as yet about these arrests, and what are the Hawks saying about it too?
We haven't heard from the ANC at this particular point in time, but I can tell you that the NPA Sipho Ngwema said that it's only a matter of time that they will start making arrests of people who would satisfy the public or more recognizable faces. And he was explaining that when you're dealing with such a widespread network, a patronage network that penetrates from national, provincial to local level, you need to start from the bottom. And of course, today's arrest, we saw the official that's on the run used to be a deputy director general at the Human Settlements Department at the time at which this asbestos project was meant to have gotten underway, and when that tender was unduly awarded to this company of the man who now, of course, was ours tracking today. So, of course, it's actually connecting the dots, and we've heard from evidence leader Paul Pretorius of the State Capture Commission saying that the bigger picture will become known to the public as the investigations do continue.
A lot of leaders of the ANC have said they fundamentally support an anti-corruption approach. In the same breath, however, there has been a group that is saying that they feel certain people will be targeted as a result of whatever action is going to unfold from here on. Do you foresee that some of these arrests are going to inevitably lead to the formation and the strengthening of these factions, of these camps, depending on who, of course, is going to be implicated?
That's a very interesting thing, given the fact that, firstly, we're going into a local government election next year, and if we're talking about the ANC, you'd need, your election machinery to work together, and that requires some semblance of unity. If you're talking about the factions, one could say one particular faction preempted these arrests, by launching salvos at President Cyril Ramaphosa. And if you just look at the reports that have been coming out of the newspapers over the week, it's quite clear where the law enforcement agencies are headed. And this is exactly what they've told us today, is that this is the start of many arrests. We're also anticipating that tomorrow there will be a continuation of those arrests, and the next 48 hours are crucial for the NPA Hawks and the SIU in nabbing these alleged culprits before they appear in court on Friday, so that they can consolidate their information and ensure that they have a strong indictment, because it doesn't make sense to go about these arrests and then not have a strong case when you appear before court.
This is a case that has its tentacles in different provinces. Yes. How are the Hawks approaching it in terms of the court appearances? Are they all going to appear in one court? Are they all going to be charged at the same time? Logistically, how are they planning on managing that?
They're all going going to be appearing at the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court by virtue of the fact that that asbestos project was based in the Free State. So the reason why the operation took place in various provinces today is because, and it's quite remarkable really, that, you know, this DDG who's on the run had left the department and was now sitting on the board of an industrial zone in Richards Bay. And so this is why then, you know, that operation took place in KwaZulu-Natal, and certain officials as well, senior officials within the Human Settlements Department, you know, in the Free State today, as well as this particular tenderpreneur. So certainly, as you said, this has its tentacles in many areas, and to quote Sipho Ngwema, they're working from the ground up.
All right.